Good day, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the voice of reason. So, in this video, I wanted to discuss the Ethiopian army, and specifically, a lot of video documentation is now coming in of the mass surrender of the Ethiopian military units inside of the Tigray region. And one thing that you can't help not to overlook is really the complete lack of military bearing that the Ethiopian army presents. And I understand this is not a Western military by any stretch of the imagination, but at the same time, you see a lot of women and very young men that have seem to be given the outer layer of a uniform and told to head into the Tigray region. And you can really see just from the military bearing and the way those forces present themselves. Now, I understand this is in captivity and it's a little different, but this force that has been captured displays very little in the way of military bearing. Even the proper wearing of a uniform is almost non-existent. You can tell that these forces have been without any sort of leadership to enforce any sort of military bearing, which really kind of shows the lack of training that probably went into these forces prior to them being deployed to the Tigray region. Not really sure what the strategy was other than to maybe inundate the Tigray region with thousands and thousands of untrained personnel. And I don't believe they're conscripts per se. My understanding is a lot of these folks actually volunteered. But other than given a uniform and placed inside of a military unit without any sort of military training, really is apparent. And I think when you have a look at the Tigrayan Defense Force side, and not necessarily some of the new militia units that have formed and volunteered inside of the Tigray region, but if you look at more of those the sand-colored uniforms that are worn by those more active duty TDF members, the military bearing is very apparent, just in terms of the speed of the marching and the kind of the robustness of the morale that exists, and also their bearing. You can really see a difference in the two forces, and I don't know how one even calls that force that surrendered inside of the Tigray region an army. It really is pathetic, and those forces probably should have never been deployed into the Tigray region without any sort of training. And again, I don't know the mentality that went behind deploying those forces really at all, but you can really take a look at those forces, and you can really see that they should have never been placed in the position that they were placed in. And that really kind of shows you the lack of leadership that probably exists inside of the Ethiopian army, the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, and that's very apparent. And I would assume that obviously there are some good units with military bearing within the Ethiopian army, but what has been shown on camera in terms of the sheer amount of those forces that surrendered It's really not a good look for the Ethiopian army, and I think it's something that needs to be a commentary needed to be done about that rabble that was captured inside of the Tigray region. Really, really poor showing of a military unit. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.